Have you spoken about this before?
No. My whole world flipped on its head. You're trying to take me away from my dad, and that's wrong. Because I was like indoctrinated in a way. They were asking the right questions.
Come and give you a hug. I need to give you a hug. To understand who you are now, what do I need to know about that part of your life?
Well, I, as like a young child before the age of like 8, had quite a traumatic like relationship with my dad. And I don't really want to go into it too much because it affects my siblings and my whole family. But like that really consumed a lot of my childhood. Ever since I can remember, like I've really struggled sleeping. And I think a lot of the traumatic things that were happening, I didn't realize that they were wrong. But I knew that like I would look around at other kids and be like, why don't they seem to understand this like pain or dread or fear? Like, you know, where does the joy, like, when does that come for me? Like, I kind of always felt like I felt things very deeply in comparison to other people. And so when that sort of period of my life ended, I imagined that, like, you know, everything is just like up from here, like everything's perfect now. All of those things that I was concerned about were actually wrong. And like now I'm sort of free. Yeah, and then, you know, at different stages in life, you realize that there's never like an end destination for that freedom. And it's, yeah, it kind of comes from within, I guess. Like, when are you going to let yourself be free from the pain? But yeah, that really consumed a lot of my childhood. That was sort of like what I was identified as, you know, what I identified myself as for a long time. And then, you know, everything changed and I sort of became this like, you know, character who wouldn't let anything bad happen to her or anyone around her. And yeah, I guess like maybe there is some sort of like connection between those two things.
Your mother left your father?
Yeah, before I was born, actually. Well, no, I guess she escaped when I was about 4 months old. So it was, you know, bad before that. And then, yeah.
Have you spoken about this before?
No. I don't know. I like you.
That's it.
Well, I don't know. I feel like this is it's something that I've been like learning a lot about recently, and I feel like I can speak about it now.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah. Has it taken you time to like, I asked the question about have you spoken about it before because I think at like 25 years old, there was like really foundational things I learned about myself that I only learn. I mean, you know, sometimes you read something or you hear something and you go, fuck, that explains this thing. So my question there is just like, did it take you time to connect those dots?
yeah, definitely. I think that people sort of talk about like rewiring. People on your podcast actually speak about rewiring your brain. But that first, in order to do that, you have to recognize when your brain is doing a pattern that you want to rewire. And I think that like struggle with identity and like the big questions of like, who am I think that everyone struggles with that. But I think that like, you know, there's a period of your childhood where, you know, certain situations can really stunt, like, or just alter forever, like who you are going to become. And that's not to say that you can't also just like become a very peaceful and, you know, content and fulfilled person. But like that sort of basic instinct of like, what brings me joy? You know, you've kind of second guessed that a lot as a kid and you're not known, you know, whether to trust what you really think or feel or, you know, whatever sort of like mental manipulation. And that can really have like lasting effects. So
when you talk about joy, you talk about struggling to feel joy at a young age. What is that? How do I understand those words?
I think like, you know, when you watch kids play, and like there's struggles and there's tiffs and there's like whatever, but there's like just like complete inhibition, right? And it's just like running, or it's like going on the slide, or it's like I felt like I would often stop in a situation like that. I would be doing something and then I would just stop and be like, something awful is going to happen. And just like, I couldn't continue.
Do you want a tissue?
Maybe.
Jack, could you grab a tissue, please? We can stop as much as you want, by the way. We don't have to carry on. It's a great thing with podcasting. Just keep them on the desk if you want.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hide them around the other side.
I could put them just like here.
Cool.
That's off camera?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I would just had that sense of impending doom, and I didn't know how to make it go away. And I had like great memories. I don't even know, it's hard to remember a lot of them. A lot of those times that I felt very free, I was actually on my own. But I would never have like thought I was like an introverted person. Like I always would have thought that I was quite extroverted because I perform a lot for people, you know. But yeah, I struggled. I struggled with that when I was a kid, and just thought like, how do I stop feeling like this and just feel like everything's okay, you know?
But at that age, I'm guessing you didn't know why you felt like that. So knowing how to go about healing from it is an impossible task, right? It goes back to the point about you can't solve for something that you're not aware of.
Yeah. Going like nothing's wrong. Like nothing is wrong. Everything's the way that it's supposed to be. But it wasn't. But I just would tell myself that, like, what is wrong with you? Like,